Right, into the rest of the Premier League action this week, and I do think we are going to have to start with Tottenham Hotspur. You are a TV show, a very, very well-written TV show, a comedy sketch that even, I don't think top comedians could write some of the things that you've managed to pull off this season. Thomas Frank, walking around with an Arsenal cup, holding it so perfectly with the Arsenal badge on display, grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Yeah, that happened.
The fact that 95% of people assumed that was AI tells you the story. Like, that must be fake. But no, it's just...
I was convinced it was AI.
It was just incredible.
When I first saw it, I was like, hey, it's gotten pretty fucking good, hasn't it, guys? And then, honestly, when I found out that was real, I do not care if it's childish, if it's embarrassing. As a Tottenham manager, you have two rules. You have to love the club and back the club, and you have to hate Arsenal. The fact that now, like a legitimate photo of our manager holding an Arsenal cup.
I'm framing that. If we win the league, I'm framing.
You should get it in the backdrop.
No, we shouldn't. I'd smash the setup. But the fact that actually happened is like, I've said it so many times this season where the Eze hat-trick stuff, I mean, so much other things. I mean, you can list off probably about 10 things this year that have just been insanely Spursy. And, you know, you've got to have a laugh at yourself. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here. So it's one of those things where Bournemouth didn't even faze me. It did. That's a lie. But it's like so much stupid stuff has happened to us. It's like, that was obviously going to happen, wasn't it? Obviously, Semenyo was going to score a 95th minute winner from the edge of the box. Obviously, Thomas Frank was going to drink his drink pre-match from an Arsenal cup. You know, obviously, he was going to take absolutely no accountability for it in his press conference afterwards. Obviously, Mohamed Kudus is out for 2 months. Obviously, Dane Kulusevski's knee has just like exploded. Obviously, Solanke is not back. Obviously, Lucas Bergvall's now injured as well. Obviously, we're 14th.
So it's going pretty well then.
All things good.
All good season.
I want Thomas Frank.
Spurs fan.
And like, I always, you know, find it cringe when sort of I listen back to myself when I'm like ranting about managers and saying I want them out of my club and stuff. Because who do I think I am? But Thomas Frank, I've never wanted a manager out quite like I want him to leave this football club. And I think for every reason now, I think I really went big on his personality when he joined Spurs. I thought he was a great guy. A lot of people still do probably think he's a great guy. And I still think he's a great guy. Probably personally, really nice bloke. I still think he is. But the way that he's failed to get it at Spurs has been like amazing. It's honestly insane. We don't ask for much. Like, really, like, we didn't have that high an expectation of this season. I wanted us to challenge for European football. I wanted us to just be a bit less embarrassing, really. And I know that we won the Europa League last year, but in the Premier League, I just wanted us to be a little bit less embarrassing because we got battered every week for a year, essentially. So to fail to get it as much as he has in press conferences, to be as uncharismatic as he is in press conferences, sort of his team selections, the way we play football is just like, even the Bournemouth game was better. Like, we played better. Like, Matisse Tell was excellent. We were unlucky. We were like really unlucky not to get a point out of that game, or even you could say to win it. But it just doesn't matter. Like, none of that feels relevant to me right now because it's just so depressing with him. And, like, you know, Christian Romero as well. That was another thing. I mean, Mickey van der Ven, both of our centre-backs. Mickey van der Ven is now coming out today that he's unhappy at Spurs.
Sure.
He was fighting the away fans at the end of the Bournemouth game. Christian Romero basically called out the entire football club on his Instagram after the game, our captain. And, you know, I don't blame him for doing that necessarily. Like, I'm not angry at him, but you should never get to that situation as a club. Like, can you imagine Mark Gahey coming out and, like, blasting Steve Parish?
Yeah, it would never happen.
It's essentially what Romero has done. He said that they only speak when it's going well, and when they do speak is a whole lot of lies. And it's like,
that is a crazy thing to say.
I know,
publicly.
And he's just put it on his Instagram like a couple of hours after the game. It's clearly like a well thought out thing. It's not like he's. It's just like time after time you get beaten down and beaten down and beaten out and worn out, and I'm just in such a depressive state in general. Like, everyone's worried about me at the moment, apart from you maybe. But it's just like. You got a lot. You got a lot.
You do.
You will go insane.
Oh, I was laughing. Honestly, I watched yours and Ben's videos back to back. I was in tears, genuine tears. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Even the Semenyo goal, like, giving a boyhood Arsenal fan like his literal dream send off. It's just perfect. And I do think you're in trouble. I mean, you know You know it's bad when Richarlison wants to leave the club. When Richarlison's thinking, I might be a bit too good for this, to be honest.
But he's got every right to this season. But yeah, Mickey van der Ven wanted, like I tweeted yesterday, I was like, oh, what a shot, guys. Our best players want to leave us. Like, who's surprised at this point? And I do think they've got a new ownership with obviously Daniel Levy leaving at the end of the summer. They've not had a transfer window under the new ownership yet. But I was positive about the Brennan Johnson deal, right? Because I was like, we've got money for him. He wasn't playing. Go and invest that quickly. We're signing a left-back from Santos for like 10 mil. And I'm like, okay, he might be talented. He might be a good footballer. Like, there's good reports about him. He's not going to be ready to come in and contribute straight away. He's a teenager and he's only played in the Brazilian league. And you look at, we've lost an attacker that could have been contributing. Right now, we've got Kudus out now. Yeah. Kulusevski's injury setbacks are like insane. So you've only got Tel, Odebear, Richarlison, Kyle Mwani, and then like Xavi Simons, who's our 10. Yeah. Right? So Brennan Johnson would be getting game time for us right now if he stayed.
Did Kudus get injured after you'd already sold him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the classic.
Yeah, that's the lesson, to do your business early in the window.
And this is my point.
That's a buying club, yeah.
If we go then, right, Johnson sale done on, what was it, the 2nd of Jan?
Yeah.
It's now the
10th?
I don't even have my date.
9th.
It's now the 9th of January.
It's now 20-2.
Zero links. Savigno's now got a long-term injury, so we won't be going for him because we're not signing an injured player in our current state right now. So that's out the window. Semenyo's obviously gone, who was our number one target for the winger position coming into this transfer window. He obviously politely rejected us, which annoyed me so much when that report came out. Like, aggressively reject us, please. Politely reject us. Piss off, mate. But then scores the winner. But it's like, to not have any transfer links, we probably won't sign an attacker till like the 25th of Jan. By that season, we're probably out the FA Cup, which is a huge game for us tomorrow. We're 14th in the Prem. We've got nothing to fight for in the Premier League anymore. It just feels like another season's been written off. We're not going to win the Champions League, are we?
Well,
maybe.
Never say never.
You never know.
I do. I feel sorry for Thomas Frank. I think because he's always had a soft spot for Arsenal. He's always treated us in the media when a lot of the media are putting the knife in. Thomas Frank has always defended our club very well. So I've always had a soft spot for him. And I mean, do
that
think...
is just, does that not just boil your piss? Like,
I think
Rory talks football as a soft spot for my fucking manager. Like,
and I do think he's genuinely a really nice guy. And you can tell that. And I think the whole cup incident, that's not his fault. I mean, I've never seen a manager ever hold the cup of another club. The fact that has also coincided with it being,
if it was a Bournemouth cup, I'd have been like, what are you doing?
What are the chances that you play away at Bournemouth like 3 days after we played away there, and we happen to take our own branded cups everywhere we go?
I mean, that is the most Arsenal thing ever as well.
Why'd you do that?
Just in case. We don't normally do it. We plan.
I reckon Arteta and that have seen that have gone, that is brilliant. That's another point, is that I didn't even mention this. Thomas Frank has repeatedly used Arsenal as kind of a stick to beat us with this season when he's talked negatively about the state that our club's in. He's said multiple times about how good Arsenal are, the position that Arsenal are in. And okay, that's the reality. You don't do that as the Spurs manager. You talk about City or somebody else, or just say our club's shit. You don't need to praise somebody else at the same time. You know what I mean? That's fine. And to keep on talking in the way that he does about Arsenal is just another point of he doesn't get it. The North London derby was like the turning point for me with Frank, where I was like, I just don't like this guy anymore. And it was like that whole game demonstrated. And I've spoken about Ange Postecoglou quite a lot, and I still think it was the right thing that Spurs did to get rid of him. A lot of people are sort of going, I can't believe it, like, we got rid of Ange for this. And it's like, it is possible to just hire 2 bad managers in a row. Like, you can do that, and that's what we've done, right? And I still think it was the right thing for Ange to go. But at least with Ange, even when we were losing every week, his press conferences before the games, you'd be like, hold on a sec.
Are we about to win?
Am I back in? Are we gonna win this weekend? Obviously, we'd be shit at the weekend, but the point stands is like you had something there to believe in. You had a guy that you could be behind until the kind of the bitter end, I guess. And with Thomas Frank, it's just none of that. Like, there's no green shoots with a manager at any club. I mean, I guess like Frank de Boer when he was at Palace, you just like, he gets sacked after 7 games because there was nothing there, like nothing. Whereas I don't know,
he spoke well though.
Vieira, for example, or even like Emery, who wasn't that great for you, at least there were things there that you could kind of cling on to.
Vieira is a great example, actually. Just a figurehead.
Yeah, and like you believe.
Well, at least he had that history in the game. He's a leader. He's got legacy.
Frank playing like the 2nd division in Norway, like that's irrelevant, to be honest. Sorry, Thomas, but
also the like example of a manager who we had who was objectively good for us, but kind of had Thomas Frank syndrome in that way that he just kept on rubbing the fans out the wrong way is Roy Hodgson, who just kept on being like, we're overperforming. He said the Palestinians have been spoilt in recent years, and we drew 0-0 at home to Fulham in COVID, who went down that year. We didn't have a shot on target, and he was like, "That's a great point for us."
Yeah,
and we were like, "It's not though, is it?" Like, just be honest and just like you got to gas your own team up, even if everyone knows it's bullshit. Just say it anyway.
And it's like with our squad now. I still will fully. I don't care. Like a lot of people saying our squad is like terrible and stuff. I still think we got some really good players, and I still think we got a squad that should not be 14th in the Prem.
100%.
And people are just going, "What's he supposed to do with these players?" And it's like, look at Brentford are in 5th. You think we've got a worse team than Brentford? The state of the Premier League right now, with some of the teams that are where they are in the league, it is outrageous that we should be in 14th in this current state of the Premier League. I know that a couple of wins gets you back up there, right? We're not going to win a couple of games anytime soon, but yeah, it's bleak times right now. It really, really is with Spurs, and I don't see anything getting better in the short term. In fact, I only see it getting worse.
Do you think he'll last to the end of the season?
I won't last to the end of the season if he does. So
one of us isn't lasting to the end of the season.
Genuinely. Who outlasts who? So, I mean, you'll have to get a new co-host if he does. But I don't know. And yeah, I'm so almost bored of like being so negative about Spurs. We had like the best day of my life, best week of my life in the summer. Outside of that, for the last 18 months, it's been like diabolical.
Yeah,
and like I just keep on feeling like I'm banging the negative drum, and I don't want to become known as like this just hugely negative Spurs fan. And I do feel like I try and keep it positive a lot of the time with like when I'm talking about players and squad and stuff. But it's just
that next home game in the Premier League, West Ham at home. If you don't beat West Ham at home,
you're going to lose to West Ham.
I might invade the pitch if we lose at home to West Ham.
Don't do it, because that would be an unbelievable clip for the podcast.
Yeah, make sure you're on there for over a minute.
Yeah,
just keep
me and Ben just charging onto the pitch. Yeah. But genuinely, if we lose to Villa tomorrow and we're out the FA Cup, that game's a big deal for Spurs fans. Like I think we won a European trophy last season. I think now going and winning a competition like the FA Cup, I've dreamed about winning the FA Cup since I was a kid, as everyone really does. Yeah. Can you tell me what's like, though, please?
Tell me about it.
I mean, you wouldn't know about European trophies, or you, so, you know, you can ask me about that experience if you want to. But, like, that competition now feels like a last chance saloon for Frank, or not for Frank, piss off, but for Tottenham this season. So it's like, if we lose that tomorrow, it's like all hope's gone in the season, because then it's just Champions League and Premier League.
Yeah, but I mean, most people are expecting you to lose to Villa. They do have a better team.
And Villa should go for the cup as well. They're both in the same position of like you would benefit a lot from winning the cup.
But the West Ham one, that's curtains.
I'd rather lose to West Ham and beat Villa.
No, I appreciate that from your perspective, but I'm saying like overall
PR.
As a perception.
Oh yeah, if we lose to West Ham, that would be like
hilarious.
Also, Thomas Frank. Sorry, last thing. Thomas Frank had a history at Brentford of just playing B team in the FA Cup, even when Brentford had nothing to play for in the league.
Yeah,
he'll probably do the same thing.
Well, I mean, we don't have a B team at the minute. We just have like 14 fit players. But obviously, Arsenal's injuries trump everyone, doesn't it? So I can't complain about it.
Still number one for injuries this season.
You
briefly mentioned
every morning when he wakes up.
Brentford in 5th, which does objectively make Thomas Frank look even worse. The fact that his set piece coach has come through without Visser, without mbeumo, without Norgard, and he's got them in 5th. Igor Thiago, friend of the show, friend of the show.
Make the apologies as loud as disrespect.
Yeah, listen, I got it wrong. There is a part of me that still thinks
you struggle so badly to got it right, didn't you?
My eyes. I watched it in front of me with my eyes.
You also think Gyökeres is decent, so I wouldn't trust your eyes, mate. To be honest.
Yeah. No. To be fair, I think Thiago's like. I mean, he's broken that record 20 games into the season, which is unbelievable. And I know that the record wasn't insane in terms of like 15 goals in a season. There are probably Brazilians.
Decent,
no, it's great.
Good,
but you think in the entire history of the Premier League, you'd have thought a Brazilian would have done more than that.
I can't believe Firmino never did more than that. I know he's more of a facilitator for the others.
But I actually just think his all-round play is so much better than I thought it was. And I don't know if he's getting better or if he always had it.
He's definitely improving.
Yeah, but like the link-up play, you know, even before he scored the second goal, the ball into Schade, like, was unselfish. Mm-hmm. The first goal, also, his confidence has definitely increased, because that first goal, the way he takes it around the keeper, That's like...
It was a heavy touch, wasn't it? But
It was a bit heavy, but in terms of that sort of finish... Brentford, I mean...
They're flying.
They are
Actually
flying.
Yeah.
I still don't think they're that good, though. So.
That's the thing. You start talking about... I mean, it was such a good result, though. But you start talking about Champions League places.
Could you imagine Brentford? It would be like insane.
Yeah.
That would just prove that the Prem is so far clear of every single league ever.
It would. But then this time last season, Forest were in third.
Yeah.
And it does get to the end of the season and teams have figured you out. Teams that are playing you for the second time.
It's like we said about Villa. Like, if it's like, okay... If hypothetically Brentford are 5th in April, and it's like, okay, Brentford could actually qualify for the Champions League, teams play differently, and Brentford will fall off. That is what will happen. But equally, like, not to poo-poo Brentford, because like, good for them, they've had a really good run. But like in this run, they've beaten Sunderland, Everton, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But they're all decent teams. But like, there's no like, oh my god, Brentford actually might be really good games in that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think those are the kind of games I would expect them struggling more than against top sides. Like with the way that the sort of criticism I had of Keith Andrews at the start, with in terms of, I just thought his football was quite inherently negative, and again, set up against the top teams, that works better, and they've had some decent results this season. But yeah, I agree. I think they're doing all this as well without Damsgaard really being in favour.
He keeps getting dropped, doesn't he?
Yeah, he keeps sort of in and out of the team. That Yarma looking midfield, I said he was Brentford's most underrated player. I mean, he's been cooking recently.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't profess to have watched loads of Brentford in recent weeks. There's been so much football on, but Thiago's been great. Schade looking like he's really growing as a player. Have you seen all the reports that Schade's pushing for a summer move?
Really?
That has flop written all over it at one of the big teams.
I actually got called out on this podcast for saying that Schade could be the next Semenyo. Is anyone going to apologise to me for that?
That is such a terrible take still.
Well, I'm not going to apologise yet. Semenyo's just moved to Man City, so... Yeah,
all I'm saying is
Semenyo's doing badly.
I was ahead of the curve with that one.
Yeah.
So just let that be a lesson to you guys.
Didn't you say at the time it was actually ghostwritten when you didn't want to hold accountability?
I was encouraged to write it. It wasn't ghostwritten. I wrote the script. It was just mainly given to me by someone else.
Yeah.
Also, Brentford are a lesson that football fans don't know anything. Because at the start of the season, everyone said Brentford would go down. And this is what annoys me when you get people in your comments going, I actually said that they wouldn't go down and to watch out for Igor Thiago because he's really good. Don't worry about it. Anyway, different story. People comment now and go like, oh, you don't know anything about football, blah, blah. It's like, well, did you think Brentford would go down at the start of the season? Probably, yeah. You just didn't document it to hundreds of thousands of people.
Facts.
It just doesn't head it.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
Everyone at the start of the season, oh my God, Arsenal never going to win the league. You're an idiot for thinking that. Liverpool are going to walk it. Brentford are going to go down 100%. You're an idiot for thinking that Henderson might be good.
Yeah.
Sharp, guys.
Well,
there you go. There you go.
Henderson has been dropped recently for Janel.
Yeah, but he's been good in recent in the season.
I flamed you for that take in the group chat, and I've got to say you were more right than I was wrong.
When it comes to Brentford, I just know ball, mate. Clearly,
weird. It's like, why?
Credit to him. But they are. The thing is, with the league the way it is, they are also like 3 bad results away from being.
It's
12.
so good.
Which, by the way, 12 would still be fantastic for them. Even their own fans. Like early in the season, even when they were getting results, their own fans hated Keith Andrews. Now they're in 5th. Obviously, they're all a little bit more.
They've won 10 games this season.
About the situation.
A lot of their fans I've seen on social media. I say a lot of their fans. You know, there's not loads of fans popping up, but like Mike Johnson and stuff. Who like I really like his stuff, and obviously he's a Brentford fan, and I think. He was never like as harsh on Keith Andrews. I think a lot of their fan base was, but he's obviously sort of saying that like it is a bit of a surprise, like how well they're doing now, based off what the issues they were seeing at times nearer the start of the season. Something else I did want to speak about as well: Everton versus Wolves, Wednesday night.
Yeah,
the Michael Keane sending off.
Yeah,
thoughts, because that has split opinion greatly.
Correct decision. Don't like it.
Really.
Well, like letter of the law, it just is.
They haven't rescinded it, have they? I think they appealed it.
They appealed it.
You don't like the decision?
No, I don't like the rule.
Right, okay, cool.
Because the rule offers...
What is the rule?
You can't the rule is you cannot pull
It was changed when Romero pulled cucurella's hair.
So,
my boy.
And I don't disagree that pulling someone's hair in a situation like Romero's one is... The problem is the rule has zero room for flexibility for a situation like that. Like, if you go up to someone... in an off-the-ball incident and pull their hair, I'm like, fair enough, that's a red card. I think there's an argument that Michael Keane wasn't trying to pull his hair, he was just trying to grab his shirt, which can happen. When someone has a massive ponytail that goes halfway down their back, I genuinely think having long hair gives you an advantage at this point. Like, cucurella gets players sent off because he's got stupid long hair. Like, that shouldn't be.
If I played against Cucurella,
I genuinely think there's an argument that players might have to start wearing hairnets.
That was your prediction you gave at the start of the season for my TikTok. And Tobe said basically exactly the same thing, and they hadn't communicated with each other on it. They both spoke about how long hair is going to be viewed as an advantage later in the season, and it's
point proven. So
I'm not wearing hair there.
Yeah.
Like they're in a
But the
kitchen,
issue I have with it again is that Michael Keane now has a 3-match ban for violent conduct.
That's mental. Violent conduct is a stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially when you look at like
true.
Huang's challenge, or I can't remember who it was.
That was
on Garner or
terrible.
That's a
where
red
tackled
for sure.
studs into the back of the car,
breaking down.
Also,
the
like
calf,
it wasn't even like a glancing blow. It was like fully the whole way down. And that's a yellow, and VAR doesn't overturn it.
See,
just stamps on Dorgu.
Yeah. Oh my God, I saw Jacob Horsfall calling you out, mate, on Twitter saying that it wasn't intentional.
It is.
Obviously, it was intentional.
So I made a video about it. I had loads of people saying, "Oh, if you watch the game, it wasn't intentional." I was like, "Oh, well, I've watched the clip, and there's zero room for argument when
he was trying to get the ball out from under him.
Even if he's trying to get the ball, why would he be trying to stamp
on
directly onto the top of the ball?
It. Yeah.
Like
it's very weird.
You would try and poke it
and
out.
Also, the fact that he's apologised
instantly
shows that he meant it, because otherwise he'd have been like, if he didn't mean to do that, and if he meant to get the ball, why would he apologise straight away?
But and that's what I mean with that pulling the hair rule is, in both of those instances, especially the Kyle Walker one, the VAR's gone, I can't be 100% sure that he's done it deliberately, therefore I'm not going to intervene. Whereas with the hair pull one, it's black and white. There's no room for that sort of note.
Which is crazy. Yeah, it shows kind of why a lot of rules in football can't be black and white.
Yeah, and also, I mean, even Jack Grealish, again, letter of the law, 100% he's an idiot and he shouldn't have done it. But you've seen it where that happens and they don't get a second yellow.
Yeah,
I would argue if he's still in a City shirt, he doesn't get sent off.
No, all right, mate.
I got sent off for that against Southampton. It did my head in at the time.
Yeah, and obviously, if he was in an Arsenal shirt, then he'd have been sent
straight
off in the second minute.
Yeah.
I'd imagine there would be outpouring of criticism asking for retrospective ban.
Grealish deserved to be sent off there.
No, for sure.
That even annoyed me. And
By the way,
I'm a fan of Jack Grealish. I don't like.
If I was an Everton fan, with everything that happened with Grealish over Christmas, and there's obviously kind of speculation as to, you know, he missed a game with a fever and perhaps was on a night out and various sort of things. So then when he does come back into the side to get himself sent off. By the way, both yellow cards were for dissent.
Also, without joy. Yes, the first one was for dissent, and then the second one, he was fouled.
Yeah, the applauding the ref. And then, that.
Like, it was like above the head, like very sarcastic.
Yeah, very obviously.
I back the referee in that decision.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on to Chelsea, obviously, no Tobes.
Where are you,
No Tobes.
Be Tobes for this one.
Yeah.
Come on, Chelsea, mate.
Proper
Chelsea.
Cucurella, best left back in the world.
What was Cucurella doing, by the way? Like, that is genuinely
low-key getting overrated.
Stupid defending. Because if you concede that, first of all, Harry Wilson is kind of going away from goal in his right foot anyway, but even if you concede 14 minutes into the game, with 11 men, you'd be like, we can come back into it. I think it was... Yeah. And Wilson did well because he kind of got a hold of Cucurella's shirt. So Cucurella had to, like, grab his arm to try and... But either way, it was stupid. Then they all lost their heads. A load of them got booked.
Yeah, what was that about?
They just all lost their head.
That's just
proper Chelsea.
Lack of experience.
You know? Proper Chelsea. But it's another loss for Chelsea.
I love it.
They are now down in 8th, I want to say.
Chelsea.
I think they're in 8th.
Tobes isn't here, so I can say it. I just the whole way they treated Maresca and have done the Rossini thing. It's just like everything I hate about football in like a few days span.
Yeah,
that they did.
And that's
not Chelsea fans' fault. That's not the players' fault. Yeah. It's the owner's fault.
And you're happy to see the owners fail, is what?
Oh, I'd love to see the owners fail. Yeah.
And I think that in that game against Fulham, like, Delap scores, but I think it again kind of shows you. I know they got a red card, so it very much hindered the game plan, but again shows you the kind of lack of quality they've got in so many areas when they've been signing so many players for like £50 million. So,
but the thing is, like, those players like Delap, like even like Gissons, of I don't know, like Pedro Neto to a lesser extent. I think Pedro Neto is generally decent, but they one day could be good enough to play for Chelsea. But they're just Chelsea are making all these players and their manager now skip that mid-level development point of playing for a team like Palace or for a team like Brighton or like they get clowned for buying players for Brighton all the time. Yeah, it's like Jamie Carragher was low key right when he's like they should stop going there, but just for their own development doesn't mean they can never go there. They could, they should go there at some point. If Chelsea come knocking, I understand why you would go there, but like someone like Gittins is a really good example where I'm like, I think if he went to a mid-table team, he'd be getting a lot of minutes and his confidence would be a lot higher. Yeah. And all of a sudden he goes to Chelsea for probably 20 million more than they spent this summer, but he's a way better rounded player and everyone benefits from it more. Yeah, it's just annoying. Like, and it's also, I think it's negatively affecting mid-table teams as well because they don't have the access to the talent in the same way. So now everyone's playing more pragmatically and everyone knows about the Prem being boring, but it's like, you need to share the talent.
Trickles down.
There's talent hoarding going on.
Yeah, even with you look at the Semenyo move to City this month. It's like you're taking the best player from that team out of it, and he's probably going to be a bench player for City.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I completely agree. I think it's interesting with Chelsea. Rosenior's got a really interesting start because in the Premier League, I think 4 of their next 5 games are against like bottom 6 teams in the Premier League. So he's got an easy start on paper in the Premier League, but then every midweek between that, other than obviously they've got FA Cup, but then the midweeks they've got 2 legs against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. They've got Champions League football where they are under pressure to qualify in the top 8 because if they don't, that's then another couple of big Champions League games in the playoffs. And so it will be an interesting start because the expectation will be that they pick up maximum points in the Premier League. But their squad is a little bit thin on the ground right now. Yeah. They've got these difficult games in all of those midweeks. Yeah. It'll be an interesting start, and I don't think it will take a lot for the Chelsea fan base not to turn on Rosenior, but they're so frustrated with the ownership.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can't get an ownership out, and so it inevitably ends up turning
always
on the players and the manager.
And you speak about like Thomas Frank not getting it at Spurs. Like, how is Rosenior? What does Rosenior have to say to get Chelsea fans on side? Because like, if he goes, we're a massive club, we're here to win the Champions League, whatever. Like, it's like when Graham Potter said it. People go like, you don't mean that.
We're gonna win the Champions League.
To be fair, I've seen a few clips of Rosenior where he looks like he's got a bit of fire in the belly, which will help.
I know, but like, how do you? Chelsea are so used to like imperious leaders.
Yeah. You can't manage the expectations of the fan base.
No,
it's the expectations of the owners because they're like
they're
so
different. Yeah, they're so different.
And that's the problem with Chelsea. I mean, Rosenior's come in. He's hired McFarlane as his name? As his assistant manager. Obviously, he was very impressed by what he did in those 2 games, which I think
draw and a loss.
Interesting, but fair play to him. And I mean, I saw a few training clips from him this morning. He looks like he's really like kind of on side of the players already. Does seem just like a very likeable guy.
Yeah.
But again, how far does that take you at Chelsea? It's obviously going to be way more results based, as any football manager is. But I think he's going to be fighting a constant uphill battle at Chelsea. And he's come in sort of. They've lost to Fulham. They're in a difficult place in the league. They're in an interesting place in the Champions League. Huge games against you. But that would be such an easy kind of.
Beating us in the Carabao Cup would be like, by far and away because then they're also 1 game away from winning a cup with him in his first like 2 months,
which will buy him time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So that's the easiest way that he can get them on side.
Tune in for
Cole Palmer.
Washed. He's not washed.
Toad's got very angry at me. Obviously, he's not here to speak for himself now.
Video that's so.
But he did make a TikTok in which. Well, really, it was actually borderline abusive. So maybe that's why he's ducked the show. Didn't want to say it to my face. But no, I think I've said I think Cole Palmer was better off the right, and they should maybe look at moving him back to the right. They moved him back to the right, and he still didn't look very good. Begs the question: has this groin issue, pubalgia, which I've been through it with? I've not been through it. I have witnessed Emil Smith-Rowe go through it, and it genuinely
what is. Sorry, can you explain for the untrained pubalgia people?
Inflammation.
It's chronic inflammation in your groin that leaves you just in pain regularly, basically, when you stretch, when you run. I mean, I saw a clip actually yesterday of Smith-Rowe sprinting like 4 years ago, and he burned through a defence, and he just does not have anywhere near that pace anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lamine Yamal's going through it at Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
And there's no real surgery. Like, Smith-Rowe had groin surgery, but again, he's nowhere near reached the sort of level of potential that he did have at a point.
There are lots of players that have had that in the past as youngsters and have been fine. So
you'd feel like Palmer isn't someone like He's not
doesn't rely on his pace.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
I agree. Like I've said in our group chat before as well that I think Palmer's better off the right, and all of Chelsea's big games he gets played off the right. And I think Tobe said in his video, like when he was scoring 4 against Everton, against Brighton, it's like, yeah, but those are games against Everton, against Brighton. Like, I'm not saying that that's not impressive, but when you're playing PSG, when you're playing Bayern Munich, Palmer's playing on the right hand side with an overlapping fullback, and he's got runners all around him.
Yeah,
like that's not a coincidence.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. That's my contributions.
Fantastic input there.
I think Cole Palmer is brilliant, and people saying he's a one-season wonder are mental.
Chelsea fans saying that.
It's mad. It's just insanity.
He is struggling.
He is.
Yeah, but not
like you can't deny that at the moment.
of course,
he is struggling.
But the individual quality in the Prem is in a bit of a weird. Like Igor Thiago is one of the best goal scorers in the league.
No respect.
Saka and Palmer both. I know, like Saka's not having a bad season, but he's not he's not having an explosive season. Like
for his standards, he's been pretty poor.
Decent second gear.
Yeah, and so I think you're right. Like Saka, Palmer, Foden's had probably the best out of the three in terms of that little debate that they always have. But again, recently is
went on a streak,
fallen off a little bit. Yeah, and I think that with Palmer, it is based more off of who he's got around him, I think, than just him. Like, I think when you're Cole Palmer and you're so technically elite, I've always thought having the kind of players to combine with, like when he used to play centrally last season, he had Madueke out to the right. Even Jadon Sancho is so underrated in terms of how he combines in those tight areas with a player like Cole Palmer. And now you've got Neto out there. And then on the right-hand side, they're playing Neto on the right-hand side, or Esteval. And that's why Chelsea fans, I think, have wanted to see Esteval and Palmer together so regularly. But I also think with Esteval, he's proved in some games that he's not quite ready yet in terms of being that fully fledged first team week in, week out, starting in the Prem every game. And I think Palmer's suffering from a mixture of those things sort of in and around him. A lot of players sort of being chopped and changed because of injuries. He's obviously had the injuries too. So, yeah, there's obviously a lot of context to do with his poor form.
Nicholas Jackson not being there as well. I just
creating the space for him.
I still don't get that, especially because like Delap and Pedro, they just aren't better out and out strikers. And I actually don't think there was any evidence to suggest they would be before the season started. No, Pedro scored some goals for Brighton, but
have him with Jackson.
Yeah, it's like what's the need? And now Jackson's just rotting on the bench half the time at Bayern Munich when he would start every game for Chelsea. I just don't get it.
Yeah, 100%. It is bizarre. And their whole summer transfer window, even selling Madueke, which fair enough, apparently there was some stuff going on behind the scenes as well. Like he wanted to go to Arsenal quite badly, but
who wouldn't?
Even selling him and bringing in Gittins, and I know that they were going to sign Esteval anyway. He was their sort of young prodigy signing over there. They brought in Gittins and
Garnacho,
Buonanotte and Garnacho. Those are their three sort of in those that can play in the three, and they saw Madueke, who's I think proved at Arsenal and even at Chelsea last season.
He'd be starting every game for Chelsea, I think.
Again, 100%.
Right or left.
He's been frustrating for parts of his Chelsea career and parts of his Arsenal career in terms of he's not a complete footballer, but he is a relentless dribbler. He's somebody who occupies men, leaves space for Cole Palmer. Jackson the same, not the most complete footballer, not the most polished footballer, but leaves a lot of space for Cole Palmer with the runs he makes off the ball. So yeah, I do agree. I don't really know how I feel about whether he's better off the right or left or centrally. I think that if the team is set up correctly, I think he can thrive in both of those roles, to be honest. But like you said, in the bigger games, the team is set up better. Having him off the right, I still think he drifts centrally and Gusto plays right back. But there is definitely a point there, and I've watched both your videos on it, and you make good points to them. So I think Tobe's obviously feels completely
angry about that. Though,
Tobe's obviously feels completely the opposite.
They just lost a fierce derby. That's why his blood was boiling.
And you've got to say that he's a Chelsea fan and there's obviously watched them week in, week out, so maybe he has seen more than we have. But
I know more than he does about it.
He will be fuming. You just said that. Moving on to some of the other games, United drew to Burnley. Fletcher's first game.
Oh my God, Darren Fletcher was like doing my head in. I'm sorry, but
really,
the interview. Oh my God!
What does Sir Alex Ferguson have over Man United as a club?
There is no surprise that so far a lot of that golden generation of United talent have either failed in management or have not gone into management. Failed. And the thing is, right, Fletcher's interview was like, in my opinion, quite embarrassing. I was watching that and I was
They're asking Ferguson for
I
his
have
blessing.
no feeling towards United. I'm not going to watch that and like want to hate what he's saying, right? But I'm just like, but it's just a weird interview to give. And then
I'd just love to know what you'd have done if Alex Ferguson said no.
yeah, so respect and the way they also call him boss.
Yeah.
It's like,
Did you see Roy Keane last night? Did you see the clip of him?
yeah.
What did he
He's
say?
spot
He
on.
said he doesn't understand why Sir Alex Ferguson is still hanging around like a Bath Met.
And
Which is
sorry,
crazy.
try not to laugh. Yeah.
He's not contributing anything to Manchester United, but he still has such an influence over it.
Yeah.
And it's like football has moved on since Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, so much.
Yes, he's one of the greatest managers in the history of the game, but we are 13 years past that now.
Yeah.
Times have changed, and I'm sorry, but even, and maybe this was just a coincidence that I shouldn't get angry about, and I'm not angry about it, I just find it funny. With Darren Fletcher literally dressing like Sir Alex Ferguson used to dress, I'm just like, this bloke just wants to be him.
It kind of looks like, based on how all the ex-players talk about him and how he still, like when he was at Leeds Man United at Ellen Road, I'm like, why? Just watch it at home. You're like 104 years old. But he's obviously he must have some like complex of like just wanting to be powerful and like have something over everyone. And obviously that made him an incredible manager. But it's like, just like let it go. Like Solskjaer saying that he didn't used to park in the manager's parking space when he was the permanent manager because he was like, that's the bosses. Yeah. It's like,
what the hell?
You are the manager.
You are the manager.
You are the manager.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to just have this inferiority complex the whole time, just like, it's just annoying.
It is.
It's the boss.
Yeah.
It's the boss.
I was speaking to Liez the other day and he was saying about how Ferdinand and I think it might have been Scholes or someone were doing a podcast in like a cafe around one of the tournaments, and Alex Ferguson like walked in and they both like stopped. They're like, "Oh, hi boss, like how you doing, boss?" Blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, I watched that clip
And his
literally this morning.
Ferguson's phone goes off on loud while they're recording, and they're just like, "Okay, we'll just let him finish," and they just sit there in silence while Ferguson's on the phone in the background.
That's all right. That's the boss. That's the boss.
Yeah. Do you think when Fergie picked up the phone to Darren Fletcher and Fletcher was like, "Hi boss, like, do you mind if I take up the Man United?" Like, he was probably just like, I don't care, mate.
Yeah.
Why are you calling me?
No, he was definitely like I reckon he
called him,
picked
like,
it up.
you got
He was
my
like,
classic.
so you're gonna ask me there, Lord?
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell the media that you asked me, right?
Yeah.
So
God knows.
the whole thing is bizarre. But in terms of their actual team, I think Dorgu has looked great in recent weeks, playing further forward up the pitch in the back four. Sesko, 2 lovely finishes.
That volley was great.
Just showed a bit. He showed a bit, and I think he's shown a bit at times this season. Difference between somebody like a Gyökeres and a Sesko for me is that we're going there. We are going there. Is that I think that those flashes that we've seen from Sesko, like the runs in behind, the timing of it, the actual finishing ability. Gyökeres has not scored 2 goals like that this season. I don't just want to make out Gyökeres. I'm not trying to be boring, but yeah, Benjamin Sesko showed real signs.
I mean, that was funny, right? Tim Sherwood at half-time said Sesko should never play for United again. Then he scored 2 goals, and Tim Sherwood said, "Nah, I stand by it." So that was fantastic analysis.
Respect.
I feel like we
respect that.
I mean, the amount of shite that Tim Sherwood has said, and obviously he was Tottenham's manager for a while, so I should like him, but I kind of don't. I mean, when he said that Nicholas Jackson plays football like he's a rapper, I was like, what the hell does that mean?
What do you mean by that?
It's like so many of the things that he said. It's like, do you remember? I don't know if you guys remember because it's quite niche to Spurs, but when Pedro Porro joined, we lost 4-1 to Leicester, the game that Bentancur tore his ACL, and Porro was like poor. But it was the first time ever that he played in a back 4. Yeah, it was a flat back 4. It was after Conte had gone, I'm pretty sure. I think it was. Maybe not. Anyway, but Tim Sherwood absolutely blasted him. Like, some of the most harsh analysis I've ever seen in a player, like literally saying he's not in any way, shape or form good enough. And I was like, bro, he's literally played 1 game. Like, that was his debut for us.
Yeah.
And it's like Sherwood has a history of just like going completely overboard on players for absolutely no reason. It's like Sesko, I think Sesko's had some really poor games for United where I've been quite worried about him. But I also think he's shown quite a few glimpses where you look at and go, you can see that further down the line in the future, yes, he cost a lot of money and there should be expectation. He's not like a really young kid, but you can see that there will be something there with him. And to like say he should never play for United again is like,
it's
objectively,
it's obviously
just
like it's just a stupid extreme.
Who are they going to play instead?
Yeah, I think it's interesting with United. It's mad because in the last few weeks they've drawn to Leeds, to Wolves, to Burnley, and yet they're still in a position where you're like, well, they could get Champions League.
Yeah,
they could get Champions League.
I don't really get why they're waiting to hire a permanent manager. Because
unless they think someone's going to be available in the summer.
Gareth Southgate, just get him in.
I don't think they should go permanent now whatever they're going to do, I think Chelsea are going to benefit from the fact they've got something permanent.
Yeah. What would you think about Gareth? Because you're a big Gareth Southgate guy. What would you think about him going to? Because I would think that'd be mental.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good tactician.
No. Yeah.
Like I really like him, and I think he's good at like getting a club.
Do you want to see
together.
him at United? Would you like to see that?
I think Southgate really wanted the United job. I'm pretty sure before Amram got it. Like I think he was bang up for it.
Oh, I mean, he'd be like.
But like I don't really see why because United don't need to be brought together as a club. Like, they don't feel like they're in turmoil. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like, the
they
squad
don't.
feels pretty harmonious. Like they've got some good players. They just need someone to get the best out of them.
For sure.
Who's a club like Spurs? Gareth Southgate to Spurs. Get the vibes up again, get everyone playing with each other. I reckon it happens.
If Gareth Southgate came to Spurs, I'd jump off the skywalk.
I don't think Gareth Southgate should take another Prem. I don't think he should take another job ever.
I don't think he's good enough for a Prem job. But yeah, so United, weird one. To be honest, I actually thought they were a bit unlucky to draw that game. Like the 2 goals that Burnley score, a deflected cross, worldy from Anthony. Another day they probably win it.
Goal from Jadon.
Other games, Newcastle, worldy game at the end of the Wednesday night.
Newcastle Leeds being a good game just feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was, and everything about it in terms
It was
of timing.
0-0 earlier in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that shouldn't be. That's what I mean. That feels
That was
wrong. That feels wrong.
That didn't
It feels
actually
right.
That final 10 to 15 minutes was just like, that was proper Premier League. I thought the commentary was bang on.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. Obviously, you get that last minute Harvey Barnes goal. That was just proper Premier
To
League.
be completely honest, I missed it because I was in my room. Like,
Right.
I was actually in my room in
Red-faced.
pitch black. Like, just laying on my bed staring at the ceiling after I'd recorded my videos. But that's not even a lie as well. I was really depressed on Wednesday night. But yeah, it looked unbelievable. And Harvey Barnes is finished. Keeper's got to save it.
Keeper's got to save it.
that's got to
Also,
save it.
to be honest, I actually thought Leeds let themselves down because they shouldn't have let Harvey Barnes control it and turn inside the box like that.
Brendan Aronson, by the way.
Brendan Aronson looked
Finishing's
fantastic.
unreal.
Finishing is quality. And overall, they've lost the game, but I still think that's a good sign. It's the end of their unbeaten run.
Yeah.
But I still think Leeds going there, putting that performance on, it's an annoying result for the fans. But overall, I still think that's like a good showing.
For sure.
I really like the way they set up of having a target man and then like a. You know what it reminds me of? Cameron Jerome and Marouane Chamakh 13-14 season for Palace. You got a number 10 who just like does a lot of running.
Who
and then
the hell remembers that?
and then like a target man
Yeah,
striker.
yeah,
I think it's just like a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
And also, like Aronson was getting flamed a lot earlier in the season by Leeds fans for just not being good enough.
Last time they were in the Premier, he was dreadful.
Yeah.
He's been way better than I thought he was. Like, I think Mark do things right. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't think he was that good.
I think Stach and Tanaka and Ampadu. I think Ampadu's really developing.
I think they've just got a lot of those players where I'm like, that's just a really good, solid player.
Yeah. Premier League level proper.
Which helps.
So,
West Ham
on
Forest.
Tuesday night.
Wow. I mean, your West Ham shout just ages.
Oh, but
There is something about
my boy.
I kind of get the point of like West Ham just feels like they shouldn't. I'm still like they might just stay up.
They shouldn't be losing every game.
No, they shouldn't.
Like the Forest one, they would have deserved a 2-0 lead in that game at the point where they nearly went 2-0 up.
Offside was nonsense.
Oh no,
by the way,
he's tackled
nonsense.
him. That's the
yeah.
thing. Like the penalty shout. I think I disagreed with you on that, didn't I?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a penalty.
Yeah, which I think is just insane. But so I thought the penalty shout was correct, and that was a penalty. But I didn't think the offside. Like, how can you tackle someone and it rebounds off there?
They said it wasn't a deliberate action from the defender.
So, yeah, because
he tackles him.
Because apparently
I know Pujol very well.
Yeah, to be considered a deliberate play, you have to go into it with the belief that you are going to come away with control of the ball.
What is
It's
that? Not
the
the position of a flipping tackle?
Most insane way of describing it, and it leaves it completely open for interpretation. I mean, not to make about Arsenal. I remember one from Arsenal against Everton a couple of years back where, like, we intercepted the ball. No, they intercepted the ball on the halfway line, and it ran through to Nketiah, and he scored. And they were like, nah, that's offside. So Saliba went to pass
I remember
Gabriel
this,
or the other way
actually,
around. And that interception went through to Nketiah, and they're like, that's offside, mate. As if Saliba's just played a through ball to Nketiah.
Was this when Nketiah was still at Arsenal?
We obviously.
Yeah, that was the correct decision.
No, it was at the time. He was just on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't know why I said
But yeah.
So why did you think it was on a penalty? Just briefly.
Well, look, I'm part of the goalkeepers union, and
You really are.
because
What did it?
Areola.
Get off the fence,
No, you
mate.
compare it to like you remember the Onana one, which wasn't given against Wolves.
Yes.
That for me is way more of a penalty than the Areola one.
Because the Wolves player wins the header.
Yeah, I was just like, maybe it's because I don't like Nottingham Forest. Maybe it's because it was towards the end of a massive game. I was like, this just feels like a bit of a naff way to give a penalty.
Yeah,
but I completely get the flip side of like he has just punched him in the head.
So I'll tell you the difference between that Wolves one and this one is that the Wolves one, the Wolves player wins the header. Onana is late and collides with him. This
Areola was late.
No, he's not late. He is no later than the ball gives wide but they are both going into the space where the ball will eventually end up.
Can I ask you something? Right.
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
We do a podcast together. If a player, right, is the ball, so a player has the ball, okay, or the ball is near a player, and another player clears it, and the striker comes in and clatters into that other player who didn't have the ball, but it was in the area where the ball was, and he was going to close it down. Would it be a foul?
Yeah. Yes, and I'll explain to you why that's different. Because
Thank you,
you're talking about one player clattering another.
Yes.
Morgan Gibbs-White has clattered Areola as much as Areola has clattered Morgan Gibbs-White. The only difference is that Areola is using his hands because he's allowed to use.
What direction is Gibbs-White facing? Has he looked at Areola?
No, and Areola hasn't looked at him.
Of course he has. He's coming into the... Areola is forward-facing, can see Gibbs-White in front of him, goes to punch the ball, gets nowhere near the ball.
Areola is a defender and they clash heads rather than hand-to-head, is that a foul?
If he comes in the same way and like takes him out in the way he did, yes, that's still a foul.
Why though? They're both attacking the same space.
Because they've gone to win the ball. He's not won the ball and he's taken him out. It's kind of as simple as that.
But Gibbs-White hasn't won the ball.
But Gibbs-White, in my opinion, I don't really know how to explain it, but like all the players are in a line, right? They're all going into the same general direction.
Yeah.
Like Gibbs-White hasn't done anything. Like he's not committed anything. Like he's jumping there to attempt to win the ball, and he's actually not really involved in the play because he doesn't win the ball. Areola comes and cleans him out. Areola punches him in the head.
Yes, but that's only because he's allowed to use his hands.
That's dangerous. Yeah, but keepers should have higher expectations. Keepers shouldn't
come out with hands then?
No, keepers...
Areola should have come out head first like a penguin.
No, keepers should have higher expectations of themselves because when they've got their arms up there and their hands up there and their elbows up there, that is more dangerous, which is why...
Factually untrue. If they collided head on head, it would have been far more dangerous than fist on head.
We know what I mean. Keepers, if they've got their elbows flailing and stuff, that's more dangerous than a player jumping for the ball. And my point is that if you're a goalkeeper and you're coming to go and collect a ball, if what you're saying is true, right, that gives goalkeepers free rein to do anything. It gives them free rein to charge out whenever a ball is in the vicinity, and it doesn't matter who they take out. That's what you're saying, essentially.
No, because if the ball had gone over Soucek and Gibbs-White wins it first and then is clattered, that is a penalty. But neither of them win it.
So just because he cleared the ball, it's not a penalty?
Yeah, because neither of it's a collision.
But how do you know that he was going to win the ball?
How do you know that Gibbs-White was going to win? You don't know which one of them would have won
which is why Areola punching him in the head is a penalty.
No, the punching thing is where you lose me because he's not
he's
not gone and punched him in the head.
Well, yeah, he's not swung at it, but he is.
I don't know. I just don't think that's
I think there should be higher standards of goalkeepers because the stuff they get away with is crazy.
I think it's good that goalkeepers are definitely less protected now in that way. Because once upon a time, that's probably a free kick to West Ham in another.
Yeah, genuinely.
But it's just one of it's not defensive. I know it'd be great to have a definitive answer because you two completely agree. I am just somewhere in the middle. I'm just I get logically what should be a penalty, but then I just look at it, I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it should be a penalty, but logically it should be. But
ref doesn't give it on field, so that's then for VAR.
Gives like yours offside, apparently.
Well, I have seen that was potentially the case.
See, that would be more fair for me if you were like, because he's not given that, and because the ball was cleared away, I wouldn't have been upset if that wasn't given as a penalty based on VAR not overturning it and to decide a game in the 90th minute that. I know that shouldn't come into account really, but I think if I looked at that and you said penalty or no penalty, I think I'd say penalty every day for me. But it's not like an absolute stonewall penalty. It has to be given.
The outcome was quite funny. Of West Ham.
Yeah, objectively a hilarious outcome. And they're probably going to beat us next week, so I can't really say much, can I?
Really? That would be fun.
If you lose next week, can I just come on again and just sit on the table?
No, you can come sit on the sofa and just viewing bar.
Live
back post watching bar.
Were there any other games? Probably.
No, we did Everton Wolves already.
I don't think so.
I feel bad if I've forgotten one, but we've spoken about Everton.
Spoken about Brighton, spoken about Palace, spoken about Brentford, spoken about Newcastle, spoken about Sunderland.
We've done it all.
I think we've cooked.
When do we speak about Sunderland? Oh, Brentford,
Sunderland.
Yeah,
we
speak
talked
about
about
that.
Thiago and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we don't
that's
talk about
all the
Sunderland,
game's done.
There you go.
That's your lot. So,
That's your week of football.
Ollie, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Obviously, you will be returning at some point, I'm
Hope
sure. Where can people find you and what you're doing?
What's your address?
My address is...
Let's dox.
Those Chelsea fans, they've got triggered.
Yeah. Ollie Thomas on all socials. Also have my own podcast, The Nearly Men, which you have both featured on.
We haven't
go
done.
check it out.
So go and look at that. New episode just dropped on Thursday, talk about Man United's identity.
And there you go. We'll be back on Monday with another podcast. It will be Rory-less this time.
God.
So I wouldn't bother
Can't get
tuning in.
staff these days, can you?
Yeah, don't bother watching, guys.
Yeah.
Rory's gone. But
I will be uploading vlogs from Norway. So
don't watch them.
if you want some
Stick
proper
to the back
content,
post.
Yeah.
no, I shouldn't tell people not to watch the podcast just because I'm not.
Yeah, that's a wild thing to do with the podcast member. But
Yeah.
it'll be me, Tobes, and we'll be joined by someone. Should we keep it anonymous? Guess in the comments, guys, who do you think the next guest is going to be? And we will be doing one player that every Premier League club should sign this January. So look out for that on Monday. We then have some really, really exciting news that we're going to be dropping imminently as well for something else happening next week. So look out for that. We will see you then. And yeah, nice one.
Subscribe and 5 stars and all that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
do all that as well.